Are you excited for Christmas? Oh, I'm very excited. My name's Elfie. Nice to meet you. Well, Santa sent me to send you some joy and sing you some songs. Here we go. Okay, boys and girls, you know this one. Join in. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. And if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They'd never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, Santa came to say, ho, 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 Rudolph, with your nose so bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight? Then all the reindeer loved him, and they shouted out with glee, yippee! Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer, he'll go down in history. You ready, Steve? Okay. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would soon be there. The children all nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn, there arose such a clatter. I sprang out of my bed to see what was the matter. Then what to my wondering eyes would appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, now Vixen. On Comet, on Cupid, on Donner, on Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. Ho, ho, ho. And in a magical twinkle, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. I drew into my head, and as I turned around, down the chimney, St. Nicholas came with a bound. Oh, his eyes were so twinkly, his dimples so merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. With a wink of his eye and a twist of his head, soon led me to know I had nothing to dread. Without saying a word, he went straight to his work. And filling every stocking, he turned with a jerk, and placing a finger aside of his nose, with a nod of his head, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. And I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Ho, ho, ho. You know this one, boys and girls. Everyone join in. When Santa got stuck up the chimney, he began to shout, You girls and boys won't get any toys if you don't pull me out. My beard is black, I've soot in my sack, my nose is tickly too. When Santa got stuck up the chimney, achoo, 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 join in, achoo, achoo, achoo. Well done, give yourselves a big clap. Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. He hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask why. Nobody knows the reason. It could be that his head wasn't screwed on quite right. Or perhaps it was because his shoes were too tight. But I think the most likely reason of all was that his heart was 2 sizes too small. "They're hanging their stockings," he snarled with a sneer. "Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here." Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. "I must find a way to stop Christmas from coming." Then he had an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch had a wonderful, awful idea. "I know just what to do." He laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. He chuckled and clucked. "What a great Grinchy trick! With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. All I need are a reindeer." The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found. Did that stop old Grinch? No, he simply said, "If I can't have a reindeer, I'll make one instead." So he called his dog Max, and he got some red thread, and he tied a big horn to the top of his head. Then he cried, "Giddy up!" and the sleigh started down to the homes where the Whos lay a snooze in their town. All the windows were dark, quiet snow filled the air. When he arrived at the first house on the square, he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. All the little Who stockings were hung in a row. "These stockings," he said, "are the first thing to go." So he stuffed them in bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed them one by one up the chimney. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. "And now," said the Grinch, "I will stuff up the tree." The last thing he took was the log from the fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was much too small for even a mouse. Then he went and did the same in the other Whos' houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Whos' mouses. "Pooh, pooh to the Whos," he was grinchiously humming. "They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a moment or two. Then all the Whos in Whoville will all cry, 'Boo-hoo!' This is a noise I simply must hear." Then he paused and he put his hand to his ear. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, it sounded merry. But that couldn't be so. But it was merry. Very. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. The Grinch hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. The Grinch stood puzzling 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then he thought of something that he hadn't thought of before. "Maybe Christmas," he thought, "can't be bought in a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more." What happened next? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. He brought back all the toys and all the food for the feast, And he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.